Hello, good morning. Welcome to this presentation on selling investment property with residential estates. The purpose of this programme, if you like, is just to give you all a bit of an introduction to our company and how we work with sub-agents across the world to sell some of the property we have available. So we have myself, Mike Holliday. I'm the investment manager of residential estates. I've been with the company about 7 years. So I head up the direct sales team and also have sub-agents, as mentioned, right across the world who've sold a number of properties for me the last few years. Alongside me, I have Jason Guest, the marketing manager.
Good morning. I've been with residential estates now for approximately 5 years and been in the property industry for about 20 years. Makes me feel a bit old.
Just showing your age.
There you go. And I head up the marketing department and also deal with, help Mike and Andrew with the agent partners and sub-agent scheme, having looked after my own agents in places like Russia and Dubai.
And joining us remotely, we have Andrew Brassey. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mike, Jason. So a bit like yourselves, in the property industry for quite some time. Slightly longer than Jason, I hasten to add, or not as the case may be. About 40 years now, I guess, having taken a degree in land administration back in the late 70s, early 80s. I went into residential estate agency, and then 2004 into the investment market, and thoroughly enjoy it. It's a great industry to be in. But with residential estates now for 3 years, it's just flown by. But where the time's gone. An indication, I think, of how good it is to work with Mike and Jason.
That's it. And as I said, the idea of this is just to give those, especially the new agents out there looking potentially to work with the company, just a bit of an inside story of who we are, what we're about, and what we offer to you as a sub-agent. So we will try and keep it very brief. We have other presentations where we talk about the actual properties themselves, but this is a good sort of opener to us. So who are we as residential estates? What are we as a company? We cover a lot of different areas, and we started the company about 30 years ago now.
Just over 30 years.
30 years, yeah. The MD Steve Corbell, predominantly just as a sales and lettings company in Chester, where we're still based. And then about 12 years ago, probably where was the big game-changing moment for us, where we started to do short-term lets or serviced accommodation.
It was actually before Airbnb started up as well.
That's it, yeah. I mean, we were Chester's leading service accommodation provider. Obviously, we will come on to it in a bit, but it's now taken off service accommodation and short-term let, so we're in a fortunate position in that sense. And then about, as I say, 7 years ago when I joined the company, we started the investment department, where we predominantly sold off-plan property and a bit of completed as well in there. But what we sort of do is we bring them all together, don't we? So we're not only selling property, but we have our management services that we can attach to it, where we may not directly be managing a property, but we have partners across the UK that we can link up to. And we also have the resale side as well, don't we?
I think we think it's a bit of a USP for ourselves, having the different departments. So we've got quite a lot of broad range of experience across the board.
It's having that full cycle as well, isn't it? Which carries a lot of strength, certainly for our clients that we work with, and hopefully with sub-agents such as yourself looking to work with us.
It means bringing on investments that, if we say projected figures, we're doing that from experience, having done it ourselves.
Absolutely. Facts of due diligence. That we all know the importance of due diligence, and we should know. I'm sure there's probably some of you out there that may have been stung in the past, unfortunately, with developments that may not be completed or have gone wrong for you and obviously ultimately your clients. We're really trying to stamp that out, and we're delighted really to announce that we're working with Fact. Some of you may have come across Fact before. Potentially, as you've watched films, you may have seen it at the end of films as an anti-piracy, isn't it? I
must admit, I haven't seen it recently. I remember it on videos.
Back in the day. So they do thorough due diligence on anything, really. It's not just property. They work closely with the government on serious criminals, I believe, as well, to track them down. But we are the first property company that they are working with. So they will look at all the developers that we work with. And that's not just, the SPVs, but these people behind these projects. Are there any red flags that we should be aware of? Is there any problems there on it? What's the funding of these projects? Quite often the developer will tell you, it's got funding. Well, we want to know exactly who that funding is with, and how legitimate is it. you know, and as I say, we're the first company to work with it, first property company. We've only started about 2 or 3 months ago. We had our first couple of projects with them. They will produce a report after it where they basically show any problems that we can follow up with the developer, and they will follow up with them as well. And hopefully we'll get the answers. You know, we don't want to stop working with developers. We just want to realise that any problems potentially that we can solve. Once they're happy with it and comfortable, they will sign it off in a report, and we can use it as ourselves as a selling tool almost to show clients, look, this is the due diligence that has been done. You know, and for peace of mind for us that we can trust a certain development.
And for agents as well, for any agents that work with us, we can provide that information to them.
Exactly. Andrew, I know due diligence is a massive thing with yourself. Is this something new for you?
Yeah, I think you're right there, Mike. I think it's important as a company that we show not just our agent partners, but also the client that is looking to buy from that agent, that we take their investment very seriously, and we look to mitigate any risks that could be there. And I think something such as fact and the additional information that we do is very important. I think another element of that is probably the 3 of us have been in the industry quite some time, and oddly enough, the investment industry is quite a small network. So you get to know developers, you get to know other people, and it's quite often, as we're looking to launch a scheme at the very early stages, we might be talking to some of our competitors, some of our developers that we've worked with in the past, and asking them, do they know of this company? Just as a sort of bit of background behind them, and then using fact to substantiate that information we get. It's crucial, I think. It's very important that we look to mitigate the risks that we're offering anyone who buys from us and the agents that are working with us and ourselves. You know, as Mike mentioned, regrettably, there are failed schemes out there, and we need to ensure that we do the most we can to that it's not through us that, you know, residential estates have an excellent reputation within the marketplace, probably becoming market leaders in certain fields of the investment market, and we wish that to remain long term.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we've got, I think we looked at the stats over 5 years, and 70% of our clients are repeat or referral business. And you know, you wouldn't get that, you know, unless you minimise the risk as much as you can. And fact massively helps to do that.
Yeah, and it's a good point, Andrew mentioned. It's just part of the due diligence progress. We're not just passing it over to them. We're still doing ours as well. And like you said, speaking to other people in the industry and getting their views on it. So, yeah, hopefully it's a big stepping point for us, and it hopefully will give agents such as yourselves, hopefully watching this, confidence in selling the properties that we have on offer.
I think then, Mike, if I could just jump in there, I think that the point Jason made about the repetition of clients coming back and buying or recommending friends and colleagues to us maybe is also an indication that we've completed the schemes, but the returns they're getting are in line with what we've been talking about. So where you mentioned that because we have the management side of it with short-term lets and standard AST lets, the figures we quote we're achieving. And I think that's why so many people come back to us and look to buy again, because they've seen what we've talked about initially, and they're now experiencing that in the finished product with the returns they're achieving.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we don't look to inflate anything and provide realistic figures. You know, and when people achieve that, it gives them the confidence to come back.
Absolutely, and worldwide connections. I mean, we've worked between the 3 of us with agents right across the world. There isn't a country we wouldn't work with. I've agents in the likes of Argentina. You have the likes of Russia. You've got quite a few agents there. Andrew, yourself. I've got a number of overseas agents, haven't you?
I think I've been very fortunate, Mike. In the latter part of my career, I've been immensely blessed with some terrific agents dotted around the globe: Israel, Kuwait, Hong Kong, Belgium. And I think it's important that we stress here that we work very closely with our agents, and they come and visit us and we can go and visit them, pre-pandemic anyway. The likes of Jason and I, you know, we went over to Israel to meet with our agent there. The 3 of us went over to China to meet with some agents. I've been into Kuwait many a time, into Hong Kong a few times. And it's important, I think, that we go and spend time with you, our agents, and it's something that we're looking to develop further as we certainly come out of the pandemic, that each of us are keen to come and spend some time with you in your own country, possibly meet clients that have already bought, and again, meet clients that are looking to buy. So they see the face of ourselves as the sort of representative of the developer. And certainly that's how I tend to play it, Mike, when I'm in the office with the agent. I tend to sort of introduce myself as the developer's representative as opposed to the master agent, so that we're there on behalf of the developer looking to sell that development to that client. Because if we go in as sort of the master agent, sometimes the client can start to wonder who we are, what our role is, and then, as an aside, look to maybe make contact with us directly, which is not what we're looking to do. I think it's important to say that any client you introduce to us from the agent network is that agent's client, and always will be. We will never market directly to that client. Any communication, unless the agent wants, will always be through the agent. We'll come on to that at a later stage in a few moments when we're talking about their after-sales care that we have in place for our agents. So yeah, it's great, and looking forward to travel again.
Absolutely. I think likewise, if you may have clients overseas that maybe visit in the UK that want to visit some of the properties, our services are here to help and show them around the projects. We appreciate you can't fly over for every viewing that there is, but we're more than happy to help on that front. So yeah, it works both ways. We'd love, as Andrew says, to come over and hold seminars, or even just sit in the office, as he mentions, and meet some of your clients. But likewise, you're welcome to send clients over if we can accommodate that.
I think that's the key thing is help, isn't it? We're prepared to offer as much or as little help as you want from us as an agent.
And it's a real privilege to have these agents in these different countries wanting to sell property in the UK. So there's a lot about our country and the structure of it. So yeah, we welcome any agents overseas. So support. So what do we offer as a master agent, as Andrew mentioned? Well, the first important thing that flows nicely on working with agents overseas is 24-hour assistance with different time zones. We know we're constantly on call to answer it, whether that be WhatsApp or WeChat. If it's in China, we're more than happy to help at any point in time.
Unless we're asleep. But generally speaking, I think it's fair to say that we'll get back to any message at least within 12 hours at a maximum. Obviously,
it's crucial. We know, a client's decision-making process can be very quick in a way, and if we're too slow at getting back to you as the agent, they may look at something else or just go off the idea, and none of us want that. So yeah, we aim to come straight back on that front as well. Access to marketing assets. This man, Jason, you're the guy to speak about this as head of marketing.
Well, we'll go on to show you our agents portal, and we'll touch on that in more detail shortly. But we provide you, the agent, with everything that you need required to market the property, and that includes white label brochures, floor plans, anything that you need to market it.
And it can be separate stuff as well. I know we've had occasions where an agent said, look, we just haven't had the time or the resources to put together an email campaign. Can you help with it? I mean, your team more than happy to help on that front, aren't you?
Yeah, email campaigns. Also, just on a side note, if you're unsure about a particular area or a development or a potential, all three of us are happy to jump on a live Zoom or online meeting and go through every area and aspect of that particular development in order to make sure that you've got the best knowledge and information to be able to sell.
Absolutely, and we can speak directly to your clients as well. As Andrew mentioned, we have no interest whatsoever in taking anyone's clients, or if someone comes direct after speaking to us, we will always pass back to you as the agent who brought the client on there. It is much more important to us for a long-term relationship to look after that, and not, we've had viewings at times, I'll be fully honest, where we've met clients and sometimes the clients turn around and say, well, want to buy direct from yourselves, and we very much turn them away because that's not what it's about. To say, very easy to take the cheap sale, if you like, and take that on, but we would ruin that relationship with you as an agent, and we certainly don't want to do that, and it's not morally right as well. So you can have confidence on that front, and I'm sure previous agents would vouch for that as well.
I think on that point as well, just the thing that flows into that is that as an agent or an agent partner or sub-agent of ours, you will be able to offer your clients exactly the same deal that we will. We don't change things for us, or we don't change things for other agents. We keep it on a level ground.
Yeah, and I think it comes from, come back to due diligence, being stung in the past. You know, we've been a sub-agent, we still are on certain projects, and we know what can frustrate us from another master agent, and what other agents have done well on it, and that is one of the things where we've seen clients have went direct, or tried to cut out the sub-agents, and we don't want that on it at all. So it's really important, and I know you will. It takes time to build up that confidence, but hopefully you'll see that through us.
Mentions obviously live availabilities. Again, we'll touch on that in a bit more detail shortly in the agents portal, and dedicated account managers.
You'll get one of the free.
Yes.
I don't know which is the good or the bad, but you'll get one of us free that will look after you. And if one of us is away at any point, we'll always chip in as well and help each other's agents. And
just to explain that, we tend to do it on a random basis unless you are specifically talking to one of the three of us.
Absolutely. And then competitive commissions. So we pay very good commissions. We don't take much margins from the developer. We pass on the majority to yourselves as the sub-agents, and we pay on time. Again, going back to my earlier point, been stung slightly in the past where master agents have taken a long time to pay commissions, or some of them have said, look, we have a one-day pay run each month. We're not into that. As soon as that money lands from the developer to us, which is getting quicker and quicker, it's straight out to you as the sub-agent. So you will see that. Previous agents will vouch for that as well.
So Agents Portal, I've obviously mentioned it briefly. So the Agents Portal is a password protected part of our site, open to all our sub-agents and agent partners. So when you come on board with us, once we've gone through all the agreements and you're happy and we're happy, then you set up a free account. It's very easy to do. So you go on our homepage, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see Agents Portal written in green. You click on there and just follow the steps to set up a free account. You'll need to enter a username, your email address and password. Once we see that, we manually authorize it, and that's just for security from our side.
Yeah, and we at that point, when we get it through, we'll always have the chat. If we haven't already, normally we have directed you to the site, but if you just come straight in without speaking to us, we would get in touch, wouldn't we, and have a chat, like you want to get to know us, we want to get to know you as a sub-agent and make sure that there's a solid mix there. And then once both parties are happy, we approve it, as Jason says, and you have full access then to all the materials on there, be it brochures, floor plans, and availability.
Yeah, so the Agents Portal provides exactly what we've said. Every marketing asset that you need. There's live availabilities on there, so it shows you, what's available in the project. And all the documentation's free to download. You've got images, floor plans, brochures, information about the area on a particular development. And then, as we said before, if there's anything on any development that you don't find and you think, actually, I would like that or I need it, all you have to do is ask.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the after-sales team, and we are very fortunate, aren't we? We're a fantastic after-sales team, headed up by Danielle, who joined us over a year ago now, brilliantly well together. Now, obviously, they are our after-sales team for our direct team, but they can also be for our sub-agents as well, and it just depends how you want to play it, really. We've had agents who maybe one-man bands who just haven't quite got the time to deal with that after-sales process. Don't be afraid to ask us. Our team are more than happy to help. But likewise, if you've got your own after-sales team and you prefer us to take a step back, we can do that. But it's a terrific team there. We've sales have been that good under this year that we're actually bringing on a third member into this team. So we're interviewing them to strengthen it. Andrew, I know you've obviously worked with a number of property companies and different after-sales teams. I know you've worked closely with Danielle and Emma and had a lot of success with that.
Very much so. I think it's important, Mike, that we have this facility, because you've mentioned, the agents we work with could be from one person through to maybe a 20, 30-man team. So They may have their own after sales network. But I think it's important that we again reiterate that the side of it, Danielle and Emma, and we're looking to take a third after sales person on, will do as much or as little as that agent wishes. Certainly from our own perspective, we look at it that a sale's not a sale until such time as that client has exchanged and then gone on to complete. And I think it's important that we offer that service to all the whole network. And as I say, as a consequence, we look to take on a third member into the team.
It's massively important, and again, I go back to the fact that we're quite proud of, or very proud of the fact that we've got 70% repeat and referral, and if the after sales team wasn't as good as that we've got it, you wouldn't get those figures because people wouldn't trust your service.
Well, I mean, especially when you sell an off-plan property, it's kind of, you have two processes, don't you? You have the exchange period where there's a lot of after sales work, and then you have the completion period, and we're involved in both of those. We can't just step away after exchange. So, yeah, really important. As Andrew says, it's there for as much as you want to use it, really. So
locations, yeah. Where do we operate from? Well, as Mike mentioned right at the beginning, we're based in Chester, but development-wise, we have sold as far north, I think, as Sunderland. Is it, Mike? Have we been any further north than Sunderland? Maybe. Get my geography right. Newcastle, I think, was one scheme we had, wasn't it?
We did, yeah. Newcastle would be the furthest north, I think, but yeah, close to Sunderland.
And then furthest south, again, Southampton with Eastleigh or Bournemouth. Probably Bournemouth, I think, is the furthest south. And over on the sort of west coast into Anglesey, and on the east coast, I'm not quite sure actually on the east coast. Probably Sunderland again, I guess. But anyway, we have a range of locations throughout the country. Done nothing yet into Scotland, or Northern Ireland, but there's always hope. I wouldn't mind a nice furnished holiday scheme up in Scotland. That would maybe do us all a favour for holidays. But location-wise, we look at city centres. We look at more rural areas, the likes of Eden Grove that we're currently selling, in Caerphilly, the bathhouse, to offer that furnished holiday accommodation. So we offer different types of investment as well, standard residential with an AST or even into owner-occupier. There's nothing to stop us selling to people who look to live in the property. Student accommodation, purpose-built student accommodation. And I think once we talk about the investment types, we also have that resale side of it. And that is one of the questions, certainly on student, that we get asked quite often. I've bought the unit, the studio, how do I resell it? And that is something as a company we will help on. We have quite a strong resale side of it, certainly on the student side for the likes of, say, Keele House, Orme House, etc. So we've also now taking over that short-term let side of it, where we were a market leader in Chester. We're almost becoming a leader of that type of development, not maybe into the marketplace of the letting side, but certainly providing short-term let investments. I'm not sure if you would agree, Michael. Would we be market leaders, short-term lets and furnished holiday lets at the moment?
I would think so. I mean, I remember Andrew doing property shows in London 3 or 4 years ago, and we were really sort of drumming home the short-term let side of it. And when we were doing our pitch, if you like, people didn't really know what it was, and we were trying to explain to them about serviced accommodation, and we were very much the only stand there. Hundreds of companies that were doing that. Now it's sort of changed. It's quite interesting. People that come to us, they know about short-term lets and they're asking about it, saying, I want to invest in this type, and I believe you're the market leaders on it. So yeah, great position for us to be in, and it's come from a lot of hard work over the years on it.
You're right. I mean, there is a lot of hard work, and that is some of the questions that we're starting to see come through from our agents and from the buyers through our direct team and the agencies, is how do I actually run a furnished holiday let? What's the process? And we've got a webinar available to view on that, asking the various questions and the very processes of furnished holiday lets and short-term lets. So, if that is of interest to clients, we will have a webinar type of format for you to watch. So yeah, all good stuff indeed, Mike.
And I think it's two up, isn't it? Of investment types and locations is quite key. You know, often we'll see with certain companies, or certain investors will hear the likes of Manchester's a brilliant location to invest in, and then they'll hear that student property is a great sector, and they'll think, right, I'll put them both together, and it doesn't always work that way. You know, sometimes, certainly for the bigger cities, student property doesn't work because there's too much choice. Basically, the demand isn't there. And it's the same with these other sectors. So yeah, I would say there's no location that you can't find a good investment in. It's just matching it up with the right investment type. And I like to say with all of our experience, we're experts in that field. And in a fortunate position, certainly myself and Paul as the acquisitions manager, where we can almost pick and choose now what developments we bring on. We get offered an awful lot of stock.
I think we turn down 70-80% of the stock, if not more,
comfortably. Yeah, and we only take on the best, for that. So yeah, great position to be in, and as Andrew said, we cover all areas.
Yeah, I think that, again, the message is that if you are unsure about any areas and why we've chosen it, we'll happily jump on and talk you through any of the investments.
And we provide guides as well, probably worth mentioning, particularly for overseas agents watching who maybe doesn't know certain particular locations. What our marketing team do, you produce brilliant guides, don't you now?
We've got them on the website. There's location guides. They are branded, but we are more than happy to provide white label versions of those, and they're location guides about specific areas around the UK, some of which you may not have heard of. And they're fantastically well put together. They go through the economic details of the region, and basically the reasons why we've chosen it as an area to take on a development.
And they're good for, I find, the sales team to get to know it better, and then obviously the client as well. It's good for both, isn't it? The target that.
Even living in the UK, there's some areas that I don't know anything about. So, but we can provide all that information.
So thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. As I say, we will have other presentations on the properties themselves that you're welcome to watch. But yeah, we're here to help. Any questions at all, get in touch, and we hope you decide to work with residential estates.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.